What is up, you guys? Is another edition of the Nicotina Show here on Saturday night on the 31st of May. So, as you all know, back on 5/20/20 hindsight, but on 5/20/20, it was a monumental day for the DCEU. Last week was a gigantic week. This week has been another week. I mean, right now, all we're hearing news about is what's happening with the DCEU. And one of the main topics that I want to talk about today is the topic of Ben Affleck's Bat. Now, the title of this episode was Batfleck Must Rise Again. He has to. I so badly want him to come back to reprise his role as the Dark Knight and to have his own show. Ben Affleck's Batman on HBO Max would be incredible. It would be epic. I mean, think about it. If you had a Ben Affleck's Batman that was coming off the heels of Zack Snyder's Justice League, even if it's a year after Zack Snyder's Justice League had come out, then they're able to release it. I just think that it would be so monumental to have a show like that that comes right after Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, that would be huge. And if they follow that storyline that's been hinted at, where Lex Luthor hires Deathstroke to kill Batman, and that's how those two, collide, and then that would lead them to Arkham Asylum. So it'd be like Ben Affleck's, Arkham series. I mean, that would just be, oh my God, that would just be so out of control. And it's what I want. I think it's what a lot of DC fans want as well. It would be probably the best show on television, which every year that comes out, if it were to come out. It'd be right up there with Game of Thrones. I mean, you name it. It would be right there. And The Mandalorian, which I thought was just an awesome show. And for Disney Plus to open with a show like The Mandalorian, I mean, that was huge. I mean, yeah, it'd be a year or two away from HBO Max's release date since it had already released. And I did a video on that as well, so you can check that out. But to have Ben Affleck's Batman, I mean, that would just be so kick-ass. Holy shit. I would just shit my pants. And I would run up and down the streets, butt naked, screaming at the top of my lungs, holy shit, Ben Affleck's Batman! More Batfleck is exactly what the fans need. I know it's what I need. I hope it's what you need. And I think that's what AT&T and HBO Max need to come together to figure out, hey, we got to get them more Batfleck. We need to get Ben Affleck on board with this. I don't care what you guys got to do to make him agree to this contract. I think he wants to do it. If the setting is right, if everything is right, everything aligns perfectly the way it should, he will come back for that. Because I think that show would just be probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life if it's done right. Now, obviously, I'm talking big words here for a show that doesn't even exist, but I hope one day that it does exist and that we get to see Ben Affleck's Batman. And I think, after talking with Justin from the Midside, he had a good point. He was saying, why do we have to call it the Batman or give it a unique name? Since we're already rolling with Zack Snyder's Justice League, why not just also put out Ben Affleck's Batman? And this speaks for itself. Like, hey, this is his Batman. This isn't, the Batman that's coming out in 2021, which I think is going to be such a kick-ass movie, directed by Matt Reeves, that guy's on fire right now. But to have Ben Affleck's Batman, his own show, would just be the coolest thing ever. I mean, I couldn't wait to see it. Plus, have the fat bat, the same suit that he wore in either BVS or the Justice League, just to see that the continuation of that character story would just be, oh my God. I get goosebumps just thinking about that. Now, the other rumors obviously have been surrounding Henry Cavill and that he's possibly in talks to get another contract set up for him to make cameos in the upcoming DCEU movies, such as Shazam 2 or Black Adam, which if he's in both those movies, I'd say that's just a win-win for HBO Max, for AT&T, for Warner Brothers, for everybody, the fans, the character. It just would be a home run. You get him in those movies. I mean, he is if you think about it, when it comes to DCEU, he's the guy who led the way with Man of Steel. And even though Batman's my favorite character, and I think it was the millions of others' favorite character, and it's one of the best characters in that the DC has to offer. Superman, I think, is right there, and I think he can help lead these new characters into the future with the DCEU. So imagine that we can get Ben Affleck's Batman series. We already worked hard enough, and we got Zack Snyder's Justice League. If we can get Zack Snyder's Justice League, we can get Ben Affleck's Batman, and then of course that would then lead into Justice League 2. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Justice League 3. That would be epic. I mean, you guys, this is what needs to happen. AT&T, this is what needs to happen. I don't care what you guys got to do. You guys got to figure it out, because this needs to happen. The Snyderverse needs to be let loose, and the Snyderverse is what they need to follow. They need Zack to be the architect of the DCEU and follow his lead, because they had something really good set up, and then they threw it all away because they really didn't know what they were doing. They put their trust in some people that they didn't fully understand, and we got what we got. But if they correct the ship, if they set the course on the right path, we will get some outstanding movies, outstanding shows, and just outstanding content for both in the theaters and in HBO Max, which I think is streaming movies and TV shows is the future. I think theaters will become something for big budget movies, critically acclaimed movies. Everything else goes to streaming. And really, they're in control of what they put in the theater, and they're in control of what they're going to stream. And I think if you start streaming everything, think about the millions of subscribers that will sign up just to see those shows and those movies. You're talking about billions of dollars. And that's what we got to look at. Just, you want to make your fans love your product. You want to make your fans come back for your product. Well, this is how you do it. You do Zack Snyder's Justice League, Ben Affleck's Batman, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. And that's how you make a series, and that's how you make a universe. And then you build from there. I mean, because Zack had so much stuff lined up. I mean, to have Jeffrey D. Morgan play, Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne, and to have, I'm forgetting her name all of a sudden, but the girl from The Walking Dead played Martha Kent. I mean, obviously Martha Wayne, but obviously he was already setting up for a Flashpoint movie. If they were able to get to that point, he was already setting pieces in place to extend the DCEU universe. And the fact that that did not come to fruition is wrong. And they need to make things right. And they need to go back to Zack and say, hey, you had a whole thing set up here, a whole universe set up here. Let's go into that. Let's see what you had, and let's see how we can make that even better. I mean, you saw the open cryo chamber on Superman's ship, which definitely hinted at Supergirl being somewhere, Kara Zor-El being somewhere in that world. We just don't know where. I mean, maybe that's going to set up for, if they ever make a Man of Steel 2, where where he meets her, or Lex Luthor has her under his control, then they fight each other. Who knows? But I think that we need to see more of Henry Cavill's character. Obviously, we need to see more of Ben Affleck's Batman. Just so much possibility. There's so many possibilities. And let's not forget about David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut. This needs to come out. I mean, we've invested so much time, so much effort into this, and we're not going to stop. I'm going to tweet out, release the Ayer cut, David Ayer's Suicide Squad every single day. Every day, multiple times a day, until we get the movie that we deserve, the movie that he deserved, the movie that he set out to make before Warner Brothers meddled with his movie, and we got what we got. But you could see the foundations for a great movie were actually there. But it just didn't happen with the Ayer cut. Let's see. Danny says, will Batfleck come back? Well, I think he will, and I hope he does, because we need more we need more Batfleck, especially for HBO Max. That would be an outstanding series, an outstanding show in general to offer to all the customers who are signing up for HBO Max. It would put them in the leaderboard. Imagine if Ben Affleck's Batman was announced and that show was, let's say we go into a year and a half from now and that show's about to come out. Think about how many people are going to sign up for HBO Max just to watch Ben Affleck's Batman series. I know I would. I already signed up for HBO Max. I wouldn't even think about canceling it and think about how many others are going to sign up for it. I mean, it's an easy way just to bring in billions of dollars for HBO Max and making billions of fans happy at the same time. I think it's the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do, and they have to do it. They just have to do it. I mean, to see him go one-on-one with Deathstroke, that would just be epic. I mean, it would be unreal to see those two go head to head. I mean, I cannot imagine how cool that would be. See Deathstroke and Batman, and we saw a clip of that in the Arkham Origins with intro video, whatever, where him and Deathstroke are going one-on-one on the docks with all the big crates falling on them, and Batman's throwing his batarangs at Deathstroke. He's out running them. It's just that's the kind of things we need to see. We need to see some hardcore fighting between Deathstroke and Batman, and that would just be so badass. And imagine, and I'm kind of jumping around here, but imagine if they make a Justice League 2, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, that would also just be epic. Or even imagine if the next Justice League that's coming out, if at the very end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, it shows a nightmare sequence where you see Batman, Cyborg, and Flash in their future look, in their nightmare future look, and they're working on how to go back in time, and then all of a sudden you hear, and they turn around, and there's Jared Leto's Joker saying, "You guys better figure it out. You're going to run out of time." Bam. All of a sudden, run the credits. I mean, that would just be like, my freaking head would explode. I'd be so excited. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. My God. I mean, there's so many possibilities out there. There's so many things they can do right. And so far, they're doing everything right. And I pray that they continue to make the right decisions with these characters, with the DCEU, with Zack Snyder, with David Ayer. They need to do they're doing an amazing course correction, and I hope they continue down this path, because I'm telling you right now, if they continue down this path of course correction, following the Snyderverse, I think only success will follow. Because I am locked in. I want to see all this stuff, and I think most of you guys are as well. So, guys, leave your comments down below. Unless you guys have any more questions, I think that we're in for a huge treat coming up next year with the Batman, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm telling you right now, like I said before, if they announce Ben Affleck's Batman, I am going to shit myself right here on camera. And I will be proud to do it. Never watch the Dark Knight trilogy ever again, or get the entire Snyderverse story arc for I would want to get the entire Snyderverse story arc films. I mean, obviously, look, just the Nolan trilogy of the Dark Knight, that was incredible. I mean, I can watch those films every single day, especially The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. I like The Dark Knight Rises, although there were some things about it that, I mean, I think it could have been done better, but it was still just a fantastic movie on just such an epic scale. And he had to raise the stakes for the third one to make it bigger than The Dark Knight. But The Dark Knight is the best one. In my opinion, it goes Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and then The Dark Knight Rises as the three best ones. But it's, the question was, you must choose one. Never watch the Dark Knight trilogy ever again, or get the entire Snyderverse story. Well, I've already seen the Dark Knight Rises trilogy, so I would choose the entire Snyderverse story arc of films, because I want to see what Zack had set up. I want to see what he had planned this whole time. And I think all of us do. And I think even AT&T and Warner Media, I think they're saying, you know what, let's do this. I want to see what Zach had set up. It's more in depth. It's more detailed. It's the entire universe building. And that's what they have to do. It's all gold on the DCEU right now. It's all gold. And they need to continue down this path. How about never see a Nolan film again? Or look, that's going a little too far. I don't know. I don't think I can do that. I mean, Nolan's films are incredible. I mean, obviously the Dark Knight trilogy was incredible. Interstellar was incredible. Memento was incredible. I can't wait to see Tenet. That looks like it's going to be just so epic. And let's not forget Inception too. I mean, Inception was incredible. And then, you know, the only thing I would say with Inception is, you know, that machine they hook up to that they all kind of put around their wrists and then they can dream together. I always wondered, how does that machine work? And maybe I've missed it, but did they ever explain how that machine worked and how they're able to connect to each other in the dreams? And I don't know if they ever really explained that. And so I was always wondering, like, well, what the hell does that damn machine do? But I mean, I guess in the case of the movie, you don't really know what it needs. You don't really know what. You don't need to know what it does. All you need to know is this is what's happening in the storyline, which is fine with me. And I personally think that in the end of the movie, it was a dream. I think he was still in the dream. I don't think he was awake. But that's just me. So, so you guys, thank you so much for watching my live stream. Thank you for you know, putting in the questions. I really, really appreciate you guys just participating in general. My channel's new and I'm putting everything I've got into this channel, and I will continue to make it better and better and better. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's going to be a short video because it's getting late and I got to get to bed. But like I said, thank you so much for joining me. Subscribe to my channel, Nicotina214. You know, throw me a like, and thank you for liking my videos. I work very hard in these videos, and like I said, I will continue to work even harder to make these videos better and better and better. I'm currently working with Krypton Caged on developing a new intro for the show, which is going to be pretty badass. Oh yeah, and keep your eyes out because myself, along with Descended Ancient and Krypton Caged, we are going to be dropping the next Justice League redub trailer. And that trailer is going to be the Justice League trailer number 2. And it was the last trailer that was all Zach's footage. After that came the second Comic-Con trailer, which is a really cool trailer, but it has Justice League scenes in it. So we don't want any of that. So this might be the last Justice League trailer that we redub until Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer comes out. And when that comes out, watch out. We got Dave Pena lined up. He's already signed a 5-year contract, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be really, really cool. Anyhow, like I said, subscribe, like, and you can follow me on Twitter at Nicotina214. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And thank you for stopping by. And we're going to end the stream now.